How are you doing?
Good, man. Good to be talking to you.
Yeah. Um, well, let's start off then. There's one question that I always like to ask you. Your father passed away when you were 9 years old. What music did he listen to?
Mostly Italian opera. Uh, Big fan of you know mostly Italian music, Italian opera. Um, he liked a little bit of rock. I found in his collection later after he passed away. I found the Led Zeppelin 4 and Black Sabbath 1.
Okay.
So he was a bit adventurous, Like I don't know if he liked Black Sabbath, but he had the record. So somebody maybe bought it for him, or I cannot see my dad buying Black Sabbath album, but maybe he did. I don't know. It was in his collection though.
Oh, that's good. And what sort of opera did you listen to? Can you still recall the names, or was it any good for you?
I didn't like it as a kid, but I didn't like music in general. I was very into football, and that was the only thing I liked was, my team Palmeiras, and my father's team was Juventus, of course, of Italy, and we watched all the World Cups. It was a big event, pulling for Brazil in the World Cup. So I found it that he listened to opera, and it was to me it was very annoying. Like it's fucking. I hate this shit. I don't like this. There was always music in my house. My mother would listen to Brazilian music in the kitchen. She has an old radio, and they would play a lot of Brazilian music. Especially stuff like bossanova, and traditional Brazilian music. I didn't like that either. So it was like living room is opera, kitchen is my mother's Brazilian music. I need to get out of here. I need to go play some football.
But in hindsight, well, you've made many records, and can you now, when in hindsight, can you see what they liked in the bossa nova and the opera?
Oh yeah, I think I actually appreciate that now. I appreciate some of bossa nova stuff like Tom Jobim, of course. Listen to the fantastic records he made, and I end up learning about other artists from Brazil, contemporary, Caetano Veloso and Rita Lee and Mutantes and Gilberto Gil, and then in opera I think is the drama. There's a lot of drama in opera. So it's a lot about expression and feeling, and I understand. I think we got some of that in our music as well.
Yeah.
But my father also played acoustic guitar. That's where the music side comes in. I think he would play traditional Italian songs on guitar, and very very cool. They're like melodic love songs, and you play them pretty good, So it was cool.
Well, the thing is, when you have a big interest in your music, I think dating back to the early 90s in roots music and pure authentic music. Can you say that maybe the opera has also some sort of authenticity to it? I mean, Italian, it's rooted in Italian culture.
Yeah, I think a lot of my father was a big music fan, so I think that's definitely translated to me and my brother becoming music fans ourselves. Of course, we discover heavy metal, and it's a whole different rabbit hole, And once you go into heavy metal world, it's much more different. But I think the passion for music is definitely comes from my father, and also painting. My grandfather was a painter, oil painting, canvas, and So both me and Igor got that from him because we paint stuff. I actually paint canvas and sell them at concerts, and people like that shit. They want to have a canvas painted by Max. It's like something they think is cool. I don't know, but we got that from him. So I think the both things, the painting and the music, came from my dad, and I think the artistic side, a little bit from my mother, because she was a model, like a real model for, in clothes and stuff like that. So I think maybe a little bit of the style comes from her.
And I was thinking, what do you think? What do you think your dad? What could he maybe appreciate the music the roads that you have taken, the two of you, music-wise?
Well, traditionally, your parents not supposed to like your music, right? That's like the right way. You're supposed to play metal, and your parents hate it. Like, oh, it's horrible, it's noise, but it's not quite like that. My mom is a huge fan, so it's, I don't know, I think in the beginning she was a bit like confused, like, I don't know what they're doing, this is crazy, and I'm just gonna let them do what they do. But as the band got successful and we start touring and recording and became a serious thing, Sepultura became a brand, she became a fan, and which is not really the way it's supposed to happen. Your parents supposed to hate your music, but that didn't happen like that.
Once you are successful, maybe they like it more because you have success. They see that you can make it on your own, and you have something special.
Yeah, I like to think that my dad's proud of me, at least, proud of the achievements,
Yeah. But I was thinking, I don't know if it's true, but your dad was, you were young when your dad passed away. Was the metal music also for you some kind of way to channel maybe the grief or the anger you had?
Yeah, I think a lot of it. I think heavy metal was actually the thing that came at that time in my life that was like actually kind of perfect for a young, angry teenager that is very confused about why things like that happen, why my father had to die. And also we were going through a very poor time with a lot of money problems, and we are living in a very poor conditions, and the kind of music we needed at that time was heavy music, and the heavier the better you got. We are looking for more extremes of forms of metal. That's when we discover black metal, and the beginning of Sepultura is black metal, and was like just perfect for, I said that in interviews, it was like perfect music for a third world pissed off kid. It was like, because the Brazil we live is different from the postcard Brazil that people in Europe. In Europe, they only saw the forest and the tropical beaches and the girls in bikinis, and we live in the in the cities with crime and poverty and drugs and police brutality. So for us, the reality of Brazil was extremely different from what Europeans and Americans saw. Touristic Brazil. Yeah. We were like related to real Brazil, hardcore Brazil, and so the metal music was perfect for that. It was actually like salvation. It was the one thing that we could count on it, that we can have it, that we help our anger on everyday basis, you know.
And is it something that still fuels you, or is it something that maybe once I can imagine once you had success and you toured the world, and I think you have to maybe some tap into some other maybe energies to maintain maybe that anger, the criticism. I don't know. Did it all stay that way, or did you also, well, maybe your focus shifted a little bit to other things that you were concerned about and you were angry about?
No, I mean it's different through the years, you know. But I think I don't know. The way I look at it is a bit like, I think like if like the Beatles have a gift to write love songs, you know, and that's a gift. They have this, you know. I got the gift to write angry songs, you know. So I like, don't waste it. It's a good gift, you know. That's something that you do right. You do it the right way. You do the real way. People feel is genuine. It's pure. It's not forced, you know. And because of that, I think there's always going to be a side of my music. It doesn't matter or success. There's a side that always will continue with this flame of anger, you know. And I think that always will go back to my father's death, actually, and things in the world that I see it and I just kind of go, what the fuck? How can they do that? You know? And then through my life, I lost other people. I lost my stepson, and we lost some family members, and we, you know, we witness, you see racism, you see prejudice, you see this kind of shit. And sometimes the anger comes from that as well, you know. But there's different ways to tap in the anger issues, you know. And I think that's interesting. You know, the older you get, you also become a little bit more chill and more tolerant and a little bit more easygoing. But as far as this kind of music, I'm in love with the power of the music. Yeah. You know, I really love what the kind of what the music gives me. You know, it becomes a bit like your weapon. You know, it's like what you have to face the world. Some people have different things. You know, I have music. You know, this is my thing, my weapon, and I use it. You know, so I think it's to me it's like something that never went away, and I think it's very precious. It's a feeling that I had when I was a teenage, and I protect this feeling with everything I have, because it can get destroyed by music. Politics are fucking bullshit. All kinds of other shit around will try to take that purity away, but you must protect it. You know, it's up to you to protect that. You know, so I'm a very protective person as far as my love of passion for metal. It's very unique and very real, you know.
Is this was it always this way? Was it for you easy to protect it, or is it something that you've learned along the way?
I always had a thing about protecting this pure side of me, and it was like almost like a rebellious way of not growing up in a way, so not to give in to society. So I did some things like neck tattoos and knuckle tattoos. Is like, to me, are symbolism of I cannot go back to society normal anymore. I'm outcast, you know. For life, you know. I like to be outcast. I like to live outside society. I prefer like that, you know. And there's always like a little rebel side of you. I think some musicians always had that, you know, like Johnny Cash and Bob Marley, and you know, Jimi Hendrix. You know, they always had this rebel soul always alive. You know, and I like that. I think that's important for you as a musician. Lemmy, of course, of Motorhead was a great example of that. You know, to me, it's important to keep that alive.
Yeah, you said the energy. Well, dating back, hypocrisy, prejudice, but also, like you were saying, well, the death of your father. I don't know. Maybe you can pinpoint of the new album Totem. Is there one song that you say, well, the energy and the feeling that I had, maybe actually stems from what happened when my father passed away? Is there one song that you can say, well, maybe that's related to the energy that I felt?
Well, I think there's different parts of the album that can relate to that kind of stuff, especially like the one song to me very specific, special is "Scouring the Vial" because it's written for cancer, and I think it's a evil disease that enters your body without you knowing, without your permission. So it's a very invasive thing, like just comes in you without you knowing. The next thing you know, you go to the doctor says you have cancer and it's all over you, and next thing you know, you're doing chemotherapy and you're dead. It's a very evil thing. It's an evil disease, and I wanted to write a fuck you letter to cancer, you know, like, fuck you, you're not going to take all of us. You might take some of us, but you can't destroy all of us. And I like the warriors, the people that fight it, have strong mentality and positive attitude, and they fight cancer. You know, I think I like to think I would be one of those kind of guys. If I had cancer, I'll try to stay as mentally positive as I can and fight this thing. But it was like, my father died, was a heart attack, you know. It's another form of disease. Maybe he didn't took much care. He smoked a lot of cigarettes, and you know, maybe and there was not so advanced medical things in 79 for the heart. Today there's many more medicine. He couldn't take it, he probably would have been alive, you know. But I think this song "Scarring the Vial" is really important to me because it's showing the fight, the human spirit to fight these things. And it's important. I meet a lot of fans. Sometimes they tell me that either they are themselves are cancer patients and they listen to Soulfly when they're doing chemotherapy, and that's heavy, man. You know, I was like, I never thought when I was writing these songs that they would affect people like in these situations, but they do, you know. So it's always different situation. When you write an album, you don't know where the music is going to go. You don't have control. You release it out to the world, and the people that get in it can be in extremely crazy situations like war. Somebody can be flying a helicopter, bombing villages, listen to Max Cavalera music. You know, it's pretty wild.
No, but I think that's something, like you were saying, that's bringing the energy. You are giving people the energy, and they interpret it themselves in the situation that they are in. Totem, what? There's a song on the album called Totem. Well, Totem is, of course, Native Americans. What inspired this song, Totem?
Well, I think Totem itself is very heavy metal related. We all have our shirts. When we wear a band shirt, we are wearing a totem in our shirt. Mm-hmm. This is my tribe. I belong with this band. You know, I'm with these people. You know, so it's very tribalistic. Heavy metal is very tribal, I think. And when you go see a concert of a band, the backdrop is their their totem, you know, and their ideals is all very, you know, kind of like unifies everybody in the same. We like the same things. We all have tattoos, long hair, or whatever. So I was trying to think of a name of a record that to me represents the true feeling of heavy metal in its most pure essence. And to me, is Totem. I think is like, of course, not created for heavy metal. It was created by natives, by tribal people. But I think you can definitely apply the same idea that Native Americans have about Totem to heavy metal, situation for sure. I think it's like, I see it as very connected. Both things, Totem and metal, are to me part of the same fabric, of the same thing. And I was really intrigued, and I was really hoping the art would be good for the cover that would show this atmosphere. And I think I love the cover of the album because it's got the forest animals, spirit animals, and the totem in the middle with all different animals, and lightning in the sky. Can be Iceland, or it can be Norway, or can be Brazil. I don't know. And I think that's cool. Like, it fits the music. When the art and the music goes hand in hand, it's a good thing for a record. I'm an old school guy like that.
Yeah. What did you actually visit some sort of tribes? Indians still they live somewhere in separate parts of the states. Have you visited some native Indian cultures or tribes?
Yeah. Mostly I've been in contact with pretty much Navajos because they are from Arizona, and we do a lot of concerts there. I've been there 4 times. We know the president is a Max fan, and it's real cool that he's the president of the Navajo Nation. In fact, there was one time a Soulfly was playing, and in the middle of the show, he asked me if he could do a little speech to the crowd, and it was a very, very emotional, positive, cool speech. I was thinking, if this guy was president of America, it would have been much better than what they have. But yeah, I have a curiosity about these things here. I live in Arizona, so it's surrounded by natives, like a lot of tribal lands around here. But I like to also travel more and find out more about Badlands and South Dakota, and even Canada. A lot of tribes in Canada. And then when you go to, especially if you go to the Pacific side, the Seattle, Oregon, that's where you see a lot of the totem poles. That's where they have a lot of totem poles and wood carved poles and stuff. But I'm always fascinated by tribal things since I was young, and it manifested in the music. So I think it's really good.
Yeah, and if you talk though to the Navajo, what do they say about the situation that they are in? What are they hoping for? What do they want? What do they long for?
Well, depends, like, I think it's in a crossroads right now between the new world with technology and all the things that we have. I think a lot of them want that, and a lot of them also wants to protect the old elder ways, the rituals and the costumes and the jewelry and the clothes and all those beautiful things that are passed down from generation to generation. Some people try very hard to maintain that sacred, and I think to me that's cool. That's important. Um, Also, the connection with nature is very important. You know, it's really, to me, that's like what happens in Brazil with the tribes. They are very connected to nature. You know, they respect nature. Nature is almost like a god for the Indians. And it's sad when you see things like our Brazilian president now just wants to kill them all, and he wants to just burn the Amazon. And yeah, it's fucked up. You know, there's a lot of problems right now in Brazil with the tribes and society and the presidents. It's bad, but I think that overall the people just want to, you know, have a good life, most of it, you know. And I like the people like the president of the Navajos that are in one hand leading them to the future, but without forgetting the roots. You know, I think that's really cool.
And do they still have the feeling that they should well reclaim some sort of land, or is that a bridge too far for them now?
I think they have a lot of land here still. You know, I mean, America is really big. I think some of the problems they face is more towards racism and things like that. You know, like being prejudiced and also there's a lot of this is kind of crazy, but a lot of murder happens in Navajo tribal lands, and it doesn't get media coverage, nothing. It just gets forgotten, you know. I wrote a song about this on Ritual. It was called Blood on the Street. It was about a Navajo girl that was murdered, and nobody talked about it. It was like forgotten. It was like never happened. And I was thinking about if this was a white rich girl from Scottsdale, it would be on the news. It would be, people would be talking about it, you know. But because, yeah, I think in America, definitely the Indians got it worse than the blacks and the Hispanic. You know, they're very, very pushed down by society. You know, like it's kind of hard to see a Native American actor or musician, you know. But I actually discovered a couple of musicians through the years that I really like Link Ray was I think he was Comanche blood Indian, and he was cool, you know. But even him say in some documentaries he had to hide that side of him in the beginning, or he wouldn't be accepted in the rock and roll society lifestyle, you know. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think it's also because, well, Elvis Presley also had some small part of him. I think his great grandmother was a Cherokee Indian.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. You know?
Yeah, but he just had a small part, so he had some sort of darkish skin, a brown skin that made him look really handsome.
Yeah.
Well, then you have a song called Ancestors. What inspired that song? And now we talk about Totem and Ancestors. What inspired that song?
That's more about it's based more on forced religion, you know, on people, kind of like it's a bit about actually again goes back to tribes, you know. So my great grandmother was Indian from from the Amazon, and all the Portuguese and all the Jesuits came and forced religion down their throat. Like, here, this is your religion now, where they already had their own beliefs. They already have their gods. And so there's a line on the song I really like. It says, like a preacher selling souls, you know? It's like the preacher is like old used car salesman trying to sell you souls, used souls, you know. I like this line a lot. I think it's really strong in a song. Like when I sing that, yeah. So it's a bit about how Brazil was formed, how Brazil was discovered, and what they did to the natives was really wrong. You know, a lot of just genocide and forced religion and killing and taking all the gold and all that, you know. So
and the thing is, for you, it must be you are obviously way back few hundred years ago. You are a mix of both sides.
Yeah. I mean, I'm half European myself,
Yeah.
you know.
But I think you feel more connected to the Brazilian side.
I feel more connected to the human side, you know.
Side. Yeah, but I mean the old, like say, the Indian side, and also the old Brazilian.
I'm more attracted to that.
Yeah,
more attracted to that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to me, that's like, you know, and you know, I don't hold nothing against. You know, I have a lot of great friends in Portugal. They had nothing to do with that now, you know.
Yeah, it's history, of course. I know. Yeah.
It's 400 years ago, you know. But I just don't like the idea of forcing anything on anybody that they don't want or like. And that can be for even metal. If somebody's pushing metal and a kid is wrong, don't do it. You know, let them discover by themselves.
Yeah.
Any form of forced anything to me is wrong, you know.
Yeah, and then, well, Soulfly has had many band members over the years. What was the impact of Marc leaving in August 2021? Was it a hard impact, or was it natural, or what was it for you?
For me, it was necessary. It was a necessary thing. It needed to happen. It was for many different reasons, but one of them being some of the guitar playing was becoming a bit stale and a little bit the same all the time. And I kind of like when I get to challenge myself and create something different to the fans. And the other reasons were more, you know, personal reasons. But I had the chance on Totem to experiment with this idea of traditional solos, more like Randy Rhoads kind of solos on a Soulfly record. I was very intrigued to see how this will come to life. And the guys that play solo on the record, Arthur and John Powers, they play in this group called Eternal Champion, and they're purist heavy metal group, and it's very from the Randy Rhoads school of soloing. And it's really cool because I grew up with this old Ozzy and Van Halen, it is guitar, cool solos, like with the feeling, you know. And to me, I think Marc Rizzo was, a lot of it was just the same over and over, the same thing. With Totem, we got the chance to do something very different from the older Soulfly records. I like that. I like the idea of the traditional heavy metal in a Soulfly record. To me, it was I was very intrigued and very excited for it. I like how it came out. I think the record is perfect the way it is. The way it was created, the solos were perfect, and I really enjoyed the way it was done. And I think the fans are gonna like it because I think it has a different feeling to it, you know.
Yeah, I think it's even after all those years, it has joy and it has a freshness about it. When
The most important is joy.
Yeah.
Most important is joy. Like if you don't enjoy what you're playing, you don't do it, you know. And to me, this record is full of joy. It's actually one of the most records I feel alive in my career is this one. I feel like also very free. It's a record that was created in strange situations where in the middle of a song, I said, I don't know what to do now. Okay, let's put a drum solo right in the middle of a song. Okay, let's do that. You know, and it was like it works. It's cool. It's different. Nobody's expecting that, and I like when you make records like without following a certain formula. You know, you throw the formula away. Just really free flowing as much as you can. Like there's a freestyle feeling to the record that to me is really gives me joy to play this kind of music right now.
You said joy, and you also mentioned Eddie Van Halen. I think Eddie Van Halen, he was pure joyness on the guitar, I think. How did he influence you a lot?
Very much. I was a huge Van Halen fan, especially in the early years when it doesn't really show in the Sepultura's music. It's more like a personal fan relationship. I used to collect cassettes of live Van Halen bootlegs, and I loved the bootlegs more than the records because the live versions were so more amazing. They play so much cooler live than the records are great, and I think I even like some people. I hear some people complaining about Van Halen records being short. I don't think they're short. I think they're perfect. You know, they're like you listen to them and they're over. And you listen again. It's great. You know, it's like a small good meal, but small that you eat and you want to eat another one right after. You know, but yeah, I think he was a great songwriter, man. A great song. Together, the drummer Alex was an amazing drummer. And this brotherhood was amazing, you know. So I think we lost a great, just an icon in heavy metal. And I like the fact him and his brother always were together and creating. They even have the father in Diver Down playing clarinet.
Jan Van Halen,
Jan Van Halen, yeah. And I know he's Dutch, you know. It's always very proud of their Dutch roots. But I think Van Halen is very I was very sad the day he passed away. You know, it was a very sad day. I never got to meet him, unfortunately. I almost meet him on a NAMM show. I was doing a signature for PV, and Alex and Eddie was supposed to be there, but I heard he got drunk and never show up, you know. So I missed my chance.
But did you meet Alex?
No, not yet. I heard that his son that plays with him, Wolfgang. Yeah, I heard he likes Killer Be Kill very much. He's a fan of one of my projects. So I like to meet him one day, you know.
Yeah, he also has his own band now, Mammoth. Do you know his band? Yeah.
No, I haven't heard it yet. No.
Okay, but you should check it out. Well, you said brotherhood. It's been, let me count, 5 years since the last Cavalera Conspiracy album, Psychosis. Is there something in the works?
Well, we've been busy playing live stuff. We just did the Beneath the Remains, the Rise tour. We're going to South America now in July for Roots. We enjoy playing together. It doesn't matter what it is. I think Psychosis to me was the best Cavalera record we made of all of them. Maybe Inflicted was quite good first record, but Psychosis was perfect. And I always would like to play with Igor. It's like being one of the few survivor brothers in metal, because Dimebag is no longer here, and Alex Eddie is long, and we are kind of like one of the few survivors of an era, so we like to really, it's cool to preserve that and to enjoy as much as I really enjoy playing with Igor. So either playing old stuff was great, or creating new music with him is always good. It's always there's something about the blood, that it's like when I play with him is different from any other Soulfly drummer, except maybe my son, because again, there's a blood connection, and that's really strong.
Is it something to do with timing? Something to do with timing, with knowing each other, with maybe feeling vulnerable?
All of it. It's like you know the person very well. You've been with this person your whole life. You almost can read minds, telepathic, and when you're creating, it's like you feel the same joy as they're feeling, and it's great, and it's a unique thing when you do with blood, with brother or with son. Very different from other band member that came in your life. It's a bit different, it's difficult to explain.
Yeah.
But there's something about just the fact that they are from your flesh and blood, that's from so connected to you.
What was it like for you to revisit the old Sepultura with Igor? What was it like? Did it bring back memories? Was it even better than you would expect it? Better
than all of us expected, because we kind of knew that these records were good and strong, but we didn't knew they were that much. There's that much passion for these records, and it kind of came out of nowhere, and it hit us like being hit in the face. It was like, especially the festival we did in Maryland, Death Fest. We had one of the greatest shows of my career, including Sepultura days and all. It was like a fantastic experience. It was like goosebumps after goosebumps. And you don't get those a lot after so many years in the music, like me, like 40 years. Those goosebumps becomes more and more difficult to get. But when we play, Los Angeles, sold out, the crowd was a feeling of this kind of like they are ready for this, and they waited 30 years to watch this. They are watching now, and it's amazing. It's a great feeling. We felt that playing, they felt it on the crowd, and it was just a kind of magic, actually. I think magic is a strange term, sometimes cheesy to throw around, but I don't know any other word I can call those experiences. Is pure magic. It's what the music does, and I think that's like made me realize two things. One, how important those records were, and they are very relevant today as they were when they were made. and how important is to be to play with Igor, how special it is, you know, when we get to share the stage. There's something that happens between us, some kind of chemistry that the crowd just goes nuts, and we all become part of the same thing. It's really cool.
But does he tap into the same anger and stuff that you had? I mean, like we discussed, your father passing away, witnessing, having a difficult childhood afterwards. Is there something, some unspoken bond?
I think so. I mean, the way he plays drum, he plays hard, like he's beating somebody, you know.
Yeah.
He used to, back in the day, he would be spitting on me, like playing drum, and he would be spitting on my back, you know. And I was talking to Dino from Fear Factory, and he was like, "Yeah, remember your brother? You spit on you during the shows." And I said, "Yeah, that's how he shows he loves me, you know." It's very, very raw, angry way of showing love. It's a Viking way of showing love.
Yeah.
He don't do that anymore. He don't spit on anymore. But we play with the same power. Yeah,
that's great. You're saying, well, the roots go to Brazil. What do you, if you say, well, you have made 6 albums with Sepultura, what do you rate as your, well, as the prime period for you? Is it from 89 until, well, maybe until 96?
Yeah, I feel that way. I feel all the records created with Sepultura were in their own way all important and all very unique. You know, you have the first 2 very black metal influence, Bastard Devastation, Morbid Visions. And then Schizophrenia is where thrash comes in and becomes this a new idea of mixing black metal, death metal, and thrash. We kind of ran that a little bit until Arise. And then Chaos AD is a huge record because it's a difficult record to make. So when a band is in this situation where you can do 2 things. You can copy Arise and make Arise Part 2, or you can try something totally different and do like a lottery. Maybe everybody hates it or everybody likes it. But we decided to go for option 2. We slow everything down. It's a bit more hardcore and a bit more groovy, you know, but really powerful songs. And then, of course, Roots was, to me, is an incredible idea, with especially with the Tribe, and going to Brazil and record with the Tribes. It was a unique idea. So I think all of them are unique, you know, in their own way, special in their own way. There's no one that I think is the best. If you ask me, my favorite is Chaos AD.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
I just really like this record.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, man. I hope I'll see you in Holland.